So you've been wanting to research companies, but you don't necessarily have the time to do it yourself, or you don't know how to do it yourself. In this series of videos, I'm going to be going step by step through my entire process from beginning to end on how I find companies, what I look for when I do my initial research on the companies. If they pass my initial research, how do I value and evaluate them after reading their financial statements? I will go step by step, including valuations when we get to that point, in how to evaluate companies. My name is Jason Rivera, and welcome to Value Investing Journey Case Studies. Hey, Jason here. In this case study video, we're going to continue going over ASXFY. In this video, we're going to talk about its information found on Google. We're done, or let me back up a little bit. If you haven't watched the previous videos, we finished its 2017 annual report, its 2018 annual report, and now I'm to the stage of looking at its ASXFY's most recent information from places like Google, its company presentations, all webcasts, all that kind of stuff. Frankly, and I said this in the last video, there shouldn't be much new information because the company just released its 2018 annual report 2-3 weeks ago as of this recording. So there frankly shouldn't be much information, and that assumption was correct. I didn't find hardly anything new. Frankly, nothing of note in the company's presentations that wasn't already talked about in the annual report, because it was a presentation based off their annual report. Nothing of major note except for one thing I'm going to get ready to show you right now. So this right here, get my face out of here. Okay, while I was searching on Google, I found this, which is of important note. ASXFY is getting ready to, or testing and implementing a plan to get away from their old software and systems for the transactions based on the ASX stock exchange, and it's going to go with a blockchain system, I guess is probably the best word for it, blockchain-based system. So this is the only major news I found on Google since the annual report was released. So why is this important? I was interested in this because in their report they talk about moving to the blockchain and their system that they're building. They've been building with the blockchain for both, if my memory serves me right, in both the 2017 and 2018 annual reports, they talked about this, but they didn't really release too many details. This is interesting to me because it releases some details. That's a huge number. But having read this article, so here they talk about the system that they're moving away from, and here we go. So currently it is estimated that the average fee that large investors are charged for clearing and settlement services, think institutional investors, is approximately 1.2% of the assets. So in other words, based off the data, kind of, or explained down here further, based off the data, they approximate that this will save companies who list on the ASX $23 billion. So what does that mean? It does not mean the $23 billion will go to ASX, first of all. When I first read the headline, I was like, oh, wow, that's massive. It's going to go drop to ASX. Because it says, bring big savings for Australia's biggest stock exchange is the headline. So, but reading down here further, that savings will go to people who list on the Australian stock exchange. So This technology, and I expect pretty much all stock exchanges around the world to have some kind of blockchain technology probably within the next 5-10 years. It will save the ASX or companies who list on the ASX an estimated $23 billion in terms of fees. So this is important because at least in the short term, this could give the ASX a competitive advantage. These are the kind of things that go through my head as I'm analyzing this and looking at this information. It could lead to a short-term, kind of medium-term competitive advantages for the ASX in listing more companies. It could mean that more companies can list, which would lead to, in general, higher fees and listing fees and all-around fees for ASX, which would increase their market cap and value further. It could lead to more diversified companies from around the world listing on the ASX. It could lead to other things that could mean, again, more companies listing on the ASX, which could mean a competitive advantage to some degree, at least in the short to medium term, until other exchanges get on this technology, which would mean more short-term profitability, more short-term revenue, those kind of things, as the Australian market continues to grow. So I'm just scrolling down here. There's nothing else down here I wanted to talk about. That's why I was making sure nothing else I wanted to talk about. So these are the main things that kind of go through my mind when I see this. However, having said that, knowing what I know about this industry and how companies typically like to overestimate savings when it comes from this type of technology, I don't believe this number for 1 second. At least in the short to medium term. In the long term, I have no doubts this will happen. In the short to medium term, frankly, I don't believe that number. Again, most companies or studies like this typically overestimate by a large margin the amount of savings these kind of plans will help save. Again, I think they will save an enormous amount over time, but I think this will probably take longer than they're expecting. As of right now, they're planning to roll it out. I think it was 2021 or 2022, the blockchain technology on the ASX. So we're still 3 to 4 years out from their full rollout of this technology. So again, I don't believe this number. Even though I do believe it will lead to long-term savings, and again, some of the other things I talk about in terms of competitive advantages or potential competitive advantages in the short term, higher profitability, all those kind of things. I don't believe that number for 1 second. So other than that, there wasn't hardly any, or actually there wasn't really any new information other than this piece, which again, this isn't even really a gigantic piece of information because again, it's 3 to 4 years still away from implementation on the actual ASX as of the company's 2018 annual report. So these numbers, these projections will change over time. And again, it will help in the long term once they get it set up, but I believe there will be bugs. I believe there will be delays. I believe there will be all these kind of things that are very typical with software and hardware launches. And once they get those figured out, then it could lead to more and more stuff, more and better stuff for the ASX. But until that happens, until we're a lot closer to kind of the launch of this, I believe there will be massive delays. So this isn't even massive news. The big thing that caught my eye was the 23 billion number, because that's an enormous number. So nothing of major note here in terms of this case study. So what does this mean next? It means next we are going to go to the valuations, and I want to make an announcement about that. Next Wednesday or Thursday, I will set a time and let you know for sure, but it's going to be next Wednesday or Thursday. We're going to do live valuation, kind of workshop, whatever you want to call it, training, workshop, whatever you want to call it, on valuing this company several different ways. I'm going to have a sign up for it. As of right now, the software I'm using only allows a certain amount of people. So it will be first come, first serve. It will be free. It will be first come, first serve to the people who want to sign up and do that live valuation workshop and see
me value this company live, how I always value businesses. I've never released this information publicly. The only time I've ever released this information has been behind either the price on research articles where I've released valuations, my updated ones, the subscription when that was ongoing a couple years ago, and via the masterclass and coaching programs. Other than that, I never release this information, and we're going to do a free valuation workshop, training workshop with live valuations on this company next week. Again, based on technology, I may have to push this to the next week after. But again, we're shooting for next Wednesday or Thursday at this point. We will have signups going out at some point relatively soon for this, because again, we're limited by the software we are using to the amount of people who can be on the live training, webinar, workshop, again, whatever you want to call it. So if you want to do that, make sure to watch the blog, watch social media, all of our pages, so you're one of the first people to know. People on our mailing list, people in our Facebook groups will be the first to be let know. On the blog will be next, and then kind of from there, social media. So if you want to make sure you are in on that live training, workshop, webinar, where you receive my new updated valuations, my refined valuations, go through owner's earnings possibly, depending on how much time we have and how many people we have on. We'll do all that next week, hopefully, if not the week after. Again, based on technology and kind of some problems we've been having on the back end with technology and all that kind of stuff. But again, we'll have a sign up for that. So if you're interested in attending that, again, it's free. It'll be completely free. If you're interested in attending that, make sure to watch the blog, social media, all of our Facebook pages, all that kind of stuff. So until next time, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments below. Make sure to check out our other series, our free training series, free training Friday series, our this case study series where we've talked about this Australian company and Filipino companies thus far. Make sure to check out our value investing in your car series, which is also now a podcast, and our basic My Thoughts series and our basic financial education series as well. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified any time we release a new video, and releasing new videos every day. And until next time, thanks for watching and have a great day. I look forward to seeing many of you on the pre-training we're planning again for next week, or at the very latest the week after. Looking forward to that, and again, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.